you said this a bunch of times, you talked about it, but the streak continues. What does it say about the resiliency of this team to keep this thing going and just being able to put such an amazing product out?
You're not Jermaine.
I know.
What's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Good to meet you, Ryan. I think it's, I don't think about it a lot. I know we get a lot of attention for it, but when you're in it, you're just like, you're worried about the next game or the game at hand. Like, we've tried to educate our guys. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I went to Seattle Pacific. 19 comes before 20, right? Is that right? 18 comes before 19 and so on. So, like, our next opportunity is to win our 15th game, and I think our guys know that. Like, we never set out to try and be undefeated. I think they approach the game with a great sense of gratitude, which I'm really blessed by. Like, I think it's inspiring the way our guys approach it, and they hold on to it really loosely, and it speaks volumes to their character. I've mentioned before in here, like, I think one of the unintended or unnoticed, maybe unrecognized things about our guys are the way they've been brought up by their parents. Like, we have a room full of dudes that are benefiting from great parenting. So for me, it's just fun to go through, and again, if we drop one, we drop one. Hopefully we learn from it. But I do think our group is appropriated it in an honoring fashion. Thanks for the question.
Caden mentioned that there's not a lot that the seniors haven't seen during their time here. What have you and they learned even over the last couple of games, your trip out west to UTEP and before that New Mexico State?
Every game has a life of its own, Eddie. I'll hear comments about losing a big lead or get questions about that, and like, just turn on the TV. Like, you can watch it every night in college basketball, and somebody will lose a big lead. And again, the last time we were in here, I think I went Kelvin Sampson on you guys and said, like, yeah, what happens is we stop making baskets or may turn it over, and the other team starts making baskets, and like, those guys get coached too. They have good players too and really good coaches. So I think what we've learned is, like, we're gonna probably get one of their better punches because of where we sit in the standings, and in a lot of ways that's a compliment, but it doesn't change our approach, nor does it change, like, the possession at hand and the value of each possession. And I think just having some of those dudes that have been through it, like, there hasn't been much they haven't seen. The aforementioned Caden Collins, Zach, even Xander Yates, like, they're old enough in college basketball that I think they've probably had enough clicks at it to have a chance to be successful in it.
Going back to the FIU game for the first time, you guys were just a couple games into that winning streak, so for, I guess, the first conference game or the first one of the new year. And going back to that, FIU obviously turns teams over a lot. I think 16 per game is what they do. You guys did a pretty good job to limit that, and obviously came away with the win. Over the course of the last 14 or so conference games, the ups and downs, I mean, have you feel like this team has, even gotten better from that early point in the season? Like, what are some of the areas of the bench that has gotten better? What are the areas you feel like has been able to improve so you guys have been able to keep winning?
Yeah, Bryson, no, without a doubt, we're better. Like, again, and that's your hope, like, your team continues to try and find the best version of itself. The unique part of that game is legitimately, like, we were trying to schedule that game prior to Christmas break, and it didn't get done. So Jeremy and I agreed upon doing it. I think it was the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's the 28th. But what have you, like, my wife said we're not leaving on Christmas, and I understand that. So we left on the 26th, practiced at a high school. I think we practiced the 27th, played the 28th. Is that right? So, like, we didn't have much, and our guys' last game was the 20th. So we really didn't have much prep time, and I was worried about guys not being in shape, and it goes to overtime, and they had a shot at the buzzer to win it. And Jeremy always has his team, like, precursor. FIU's never going to be out of the game. If we're up 20 or we're down however many, they will never be out of it. His dudes play hard. They play with a recklessness and an I think they're 8th in the country or something like that in forced turnovers. So it'll be one where we've got to execute, and I don't know where we are. Bill would tell you in fewest turnovers, but our guys usually take care of it. But they take chances. They want to create some havoc, and they do a terrific job at it. So you're never safe against them, and I think they've shown that in each of their conference games.
From the outside, people say, a veteran team, great guys, you brag on them a lot, you've had all this success this year, it almost looks easy, but how has this team maybe challenged you as a head coach in unique ways that they have forced you to kind of be like, all right, I got to think about this a little bit different?
Good question. I wish I could give you some numbers that matter, but thanks, Matt. I don't know if every season is a challenge for every coach. There's never two teams that are the same. You can't recreate one team. And I said to our guys before the UTEP game, like we got to be careful of the comparison trap. I think it thwarts all of us, especially as men. Like when we start looking at somebody else's and like comparing ourselves to them, I'm 60, and when I do that, it erodes at my experience. So, and I don't have a social media presence, but they do. And when they start hearing all the noise or focusing on the external, I just think, I always say this, one of my mentors shared this with me, gratitude is the jet fuel for us living in our true identity. And I think when you start comparing yourself to others or to your own expectations or maybe expectations of others, I think you lose your gratitude. So I'd probably answer that question long-winded wise, that I gotta keep possessing that spirit of gratitude in order to authentically give it away, and that isn't easy. I mean, real talk, like even at my old age. So it's probably been the biggest challenge for me to make sure like I'm enjoying every day of this and not bogged down by the expectation or the pressure to do something that is better than has been done before.
Kind of off that, going back to the New Mexico State game, we heard the story about you letting Zach draw a play up earlier in the game. 15 years ago, do you think Coach McKay would have allowed a player to do that? Do you think that's your comfortability with this team, with this group, or your growth as a coach? What do you think that moment says about the fun you guys have?
Bryson, 15 years ago, I was at UVA, so wouldn't have had that opportunity. Tone never let me draw up a play, so. Maturity is always reflected or represented in your ability to go from me-centric to other-centric. So I think I've matured a bit by being able to not have to have control of everything, because men love control. So the answer to your question would probably be, yeah, I hope that 15 years later I would be able to trust our players, and I do. And hopefully I can continue to do that. There's sometimes when, I'm convicted, I think this will work. I watch enough film to be afforded that opportunity, but I love our group, and I love that they have the freedom to suggest. We gotta, in this day and age, you gotta be a really effective listener, not a good listener, because sometimes good listeners don't hear, they just let people talk. You gotta be an effective one, and I'm striving to do that.
And you see that trust when you give them a long leash. If the other team goes on a long run, you're kind of letting your guys out there figure it out. How do you determine that? Is it a game by game decision, or?
Well, we only let teams go on long runs before halftime of home games.
Yes, usually.
That you're doing.
Exactly.
That's the only time we.
They're brutal runs. Yeah.
I don't know why
Shot
you would
the
say that.
buzzer as well.
Yeah.
Just see the dagger.
Now, I'm old in this. I don't know how many games I've coached in, but it's been a lot. So, it's college basketball. Those things happen. We've seen them happen before. We just have the benefit of Colin Porter is a terrific, terrific leader and playmaker. Zach Cleveland can create a shot for himself or someone else on nearly every possession. Caden Matheny is one of the best players I've ever coached. J.J. Harper is an incredible fit and will do whatever the team needs in the given instance. And Brett Decker's having one of the best sophomore campaigns in the nation. Those are 5 guys Like why wouldn't you trust them? So, I don't know when we'll come out on the undesired end of the scoreboard, but I do know our group has stayed connected, and what empowers us is that shared sacrifice that I see on display every game and in most practices.
You mentioned those 5 guys, your starters. You go back to November and opening night, and those 5 were the ones you went out with the starting lineup, maybe forced into it a little bit with Josh and Isaiah being injured. Did you anticipate at that point in time that this group could compete at such a high level in Conference USA, due to the lack of length that's in that five-man group?
Yeah, not John, we didn't plan it that way, but J.J. Harper easily warranted the opportunity to be on the floor. And I'm never married to starting the same lineup. That stuff, who finishes is more important to me. I don't care about it. I know it's important to them, but that being said, even though it's important to you, we're going to do what's best for the team. So that just happened to be the lineup that I felt like had earned it the most. And we've rolled with it because we've done okay. There was a juncture this season when we lost 3 out of 4, I think, and we don't talk about it much. But and you guys have been with us, Colin Porter had a pulled hamstring, and those take weeks to get over. He was about 60 to 70%, although he'll tell you he was 100, and he's lying. When we played NC State, Zach Cleveland shot the ball twice in the first 90 seconds of the game and didn't shoot it again. He wasn't. I don't know the diagnosis, but he wasn't himself. And because of that game or that little stretch of the season, I think people had an opinion about us. And we, J.J. Harper said in the locker room after that game, man, we can't let this happen. We got to stay together. We got to stay committed and fight for that belief that this program's had. And I'm new to it. And I think our guys 10 days later, we played at Dayton and played with that belief. So that starting lineup is very trustworthy. But Xander Yates, Xander Carter, Josh Smith, they've also given us good minutes. And I think we can depend on them. I'll say this lastly, because I know you guys talk about the bench a little bit. I want to win the game. So I think we have 3 guys averaging 35 minutes or more. They deserve it. When they're off the floor, we're not as good. So it's not the NBA where you get 82 games and you're trying to develop guys and their roles and they know when they're coming in. This is college basketball. We're trying to win the next game or the game at hand. And those guys have a lot of deposits of equity that has built a trust in them that I think gives us the best chance.